Hello Cowboys Nation, welcome to another video, and without further ado, let's get to another round of news from America's team. Cowboys cut ties with former $90 million three-time Pro Bowl star. The Dallas Cowboys are releasing star running back Ezekiel Elliott, proving that reunions do not always go as planned. This marks the second time the Cowboys have cut Elliott since 2023. Breaking: I'm told the Cowboys are releasing RB Ezekiel Elliott, per source, NFL insider Josina Anderson detailed in a December 31, 2024, message on X. I'm also told Elliott requested his release. Elliott was unable to carve out a consistent role in the Dallas offense. Rico Dowdle emerged as the Cowboys' RB1, and Elliott's role decreased as the 2024 season continued. Prior to his release, Elliott posted 74 carries for 226 yards and 3 touchdowns this season. Out of respect and appreciation for Zeke and wanting to provide him with an opportunity to pursue any potential playoff participation possible, we are releasing him from the Cowboys roster today, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones said in a December 31 statement. As I have said many times previously, Zeke's impact as one of the greatest to ever play with the star on their helmet will never change and is etched in our record books and history forever. We thank him, love him, and wish him the absolute best. Elliott is now free to potentially sign with a Super Bowl contender ahead of the NFL playoffs. All indications are Elliott requested his release given his limited role with the franchise. Ezekiel Elliott requested his release and the Cowboys granted it out of respect for the player and person he has been for the organization, Fox Sports' Jordan Schultz noted on X on December 31. Elliott could now land with a playoff team, but he first goes on waivers. Zeke Elliott was suspended by the Cowboys earlier this season. Elliott previously signed a 6-year, $90 million contract with Dallas that was slated to run through the 2026 season. The massive deal did not age well given subsequent contracts for running backs around the league. Dallas released Elliott during the 2023 offseason, and the veteran signed with the New England Patriots. After one season away from Dallas, the Cowboys signed Elliott to a 1-year, $2 million contract. Cowboys coach bluntly calls out team for uncomfortable approach. We're crawling along to the end of a miserable season for the Dallas Cowboys, and as part of that process, we're getting insights into a raft of regrets from players and coaches. Perhaps the bluntest of those regrets come from defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer. Speaking with reporters this week, Zimmer seemed to accept the fact that, even if Mike McCarthy does return as the Cowboys coach, Zimmer likely won't be back. He was brought in on a 1-year contract. What was strange, though, was how straightforward Zimmer was in making his comments. Perhaps knowing that he is gone, Zimmer tried to save some face by pointing the finger at the team in general for the defense's struggles this year, as the team went from ranking 5th in points and yardage allowed in 2023 to ranking 28th in yards and 31st in points. Zimmer indicated the problem was that he was not allowed to coach the way he wanted to, which could be taken as a shot at McCarthy. Here's what Zimmer, who was emotional, said via the Cowboys website. I wish that when I came in, I would have done everything the way I wanted it done. That was probably the struggle at the beginning. What I am most proud about is watching the guys improve. There's still more we could have done better, but I think a lot of it was that. So we had to work through a whole lot of different scenarios to get to the vision that I had. Zimmer was asked to elaborate on that, and said, I was just doing things I was uncomfortable with. I had to just do what I had to do. So here was the situation: they were good last year, right? So I came in and I didn't really want to rock the boat. I probably wasn't as tough as I typically am. I probably wasn't as hard-headed about things, about how I wanted to do things, is the best way to say it. I wasn't, and that's what I regret the most. Zimmer was not the only coach expressing his regrets for the Cowboys. Brian Schottenheimer, the offensive coordinator, was not happy with the way things went either. He lamented the fact that the Cowboys were 5th in giveaway takeaway ratio last season but dropped to 24th this year. Dallas had 4 turnovers and no takeaways in the 41-7 drubbing they got from the Eagles on Sunday. "Biggest thing for me would be the turnovers," Schottenheimer said. "You just can't win consistently turning the football over. We know that we've not done a very good job coaching it, and that falls on all of us. But again, felt really good going in the game, versus Eagles, thinking we'd have a chance to win, and obviously the momentum of the turnovers killed us." Why there's a small chance Cowboys keep Mike McCarthy. The Dallas Cowboys are eliminated from the playoffs for the first time since 2021. While Dak Prescott's injury put a damper on their season, they were headed off the rails before that. Head coach Mike McCarthy entered the year on an expiring contract and had immense pressure after a playoff disaster. Even after a brutal season, Jeremy Fowler of ESPN says McCarthy could be back as the Cowboys coach this offseason. More industry sources than I expected believe McCarthy has a small chance to stay, in part because of what's considered a weak candidate pool, Fowler reported. But McCarthy and his entire staff are operating under expiring contracts, which complicates matters, and frees up McCarthy to look into other jobs, which I also think is entirely possible. Fowler continues, "The Cowboys are not leaning in one direction as of this moment. They truly are focused on ending the season and will have open and honest talks with McCarthy next week." The Cowboys had won 12 games in each of McCarthy's first 3 seasons as the head coach. But they won only 1 playoff game in those 3 appearances, capped by a humiliating loss to the Green Bay Packers. Even missing the playoffs dramatically isn't guaranteeing a new coach in Dallas. The Cowboys should look at other coaches before re-signing Mike McCarthy. The Cowboys are in an interesting spot with Mike McCarthy's free agency. Even if they want him back, he could decide he wants a different job and leave on his own, as Fowler mentions. So if the Chicago Bears, for instance, come calling, he may want to work with Caleb Williams. So Dallas should interview some coaching free agents even if they bring back Mike McCarthy.